We begin today with a major event out of Russia's capital. A high-ranking general has been killed in a brazen attack. Now, this is more than just a headline. It's a really critical development in a conflict that seems to be widening by the day. Okay, let's get right into what we know. So, the core of the story is this. A car bomb detonated in Moscow. It's a stark and brutal event, and its shockwaves are being felt far beyond the actual blast zone in the southern part of the city. The target was a man named Lieutenant General Fanil Sarvarov, and his specific job is what makes this so significant. You see, he wasn't a commander out on the battlefield. He was a key part of the Russian military's central nervous system, in charge of the incredibly complex job of training and preparing troops for combat. So when you take out an officer like Sarvarov, you're not just removing one person, you're hitting the military's institutional knowledge, and that creates a hole in their operational planning that is very difficult to fill. Now, according to Russia's investigative committee, the details are chillingly precise. A powerful explosive was planted right under his SUV. It went off around 7 a.m. as he was leaving for the day. The attack was clearly effective, and the fact that it happened deep inside the capital, well, that points to a major and, for them, a deeply concerning security breach. But here's the thing. This attack on General Sarvarov didn't just happen in a vacuum. To really understand what this means, you have to zoom out and look at a disturbing pattern that's been taking shape for over a year now. 3. In just over 12 months, 3 senior Russian generals have been killed in very similar ways, all of them far from any recognized battlefield. This changes things. These aren't just isolated attacks anymore. This looks like a sustained campaign. And when you look at the timeline, the progression is crystal clear. It started about a year ago with General Kirillov. He was the head of Russia's chemical and biological defense forces, killed by a bomb on a scooter. Then, this past April, General Moskachlik, another important operational planner, was also killed by a car bomb. And now, General Sarvarov. The methods are consistent, precisely placed explosives targeting high-value people during their daily routines. So with such a clear pattern, the big question is, who do the Russian authorities think is responsible? Well, their investigation has very publicly zeroed in on one primary suspect. This statement from Russia's investigative committee leaves little room for doubt. I mean, sure, they say they're pursuing numerous lines of inquiry, but the one they keep highlighting, the one they want the public to hear, points the finger directly at Ukraine. This is the official story coming out of Moscow. So what are they basing this accusation on? Well, it's mainly that pattern we just discussed. Moscow is connecting the dots to past attacks, and they have a reason for that. Ukraine's own security service, the SBU, actually took public credit for killing General Kirillov back in 2024. But, and this is a really important but, as of right now, Russian officials have not shown any specific public proof that directly ties Ukraine to this latest bombing of General Sarvarov. You know, these assassinations are really the trademark of a completely different kind of conflict. It's one that isn't being fought on front lines with tanks and in trenches, but in the shadows, deep inside what's supposed to be enemy territory. This is what many analysts are calling a shadow war. It's all about using covert operations to hit an enemy's leadership, their infrastructure, and their morale. And a huge part of this strategy is the psychological impact. The goal is to create this feeling that nowhere is safe, not even for the most powerful people in the heart of the nation's capital. Now, as you can imagine, an act like this creates two completely opposite reactions. On one side, people condemn it as terrorism. You know, a bombing in a major city, risking civilian lives, and threatening to spiral out of control. But on the other side, the argument is that a senior general who is actively planning and directing a war is a legitimate military target, no matter where he is. From that point of view, the attack is actually seen as a sign of impressive skill and operational reach. Okay, so let's try to step back from the politics for a moment and just look at the facts through the lens of international law. Under the laws of armed conflict, high-ranking military planners are, in fact, considered combatants. And as combatants, they are, in principle, targetable. But there's a huge caveat, and it's called proportionality. Any attack has to be planned in a way that minimizes harm to civilians. And based on the public information we have right now, we simply cannot make a final judgment on whether this particular attack met that standard. The immediate aftermath of the bombing might be over, but this story is really just beginning. The next few days and weeks are going to be absolutely critical. So what should we all be watching for? Well, first, is Russia going to back up its accusations with any actual concrete evidence? Second, will Ukraine stay silent, or will they claim responsibility like they have in the past? Third, and this is maybe the biggest question, how is Russia going to retaliate? And finally, is this the new normal? Are we going to see this pattern of targeted killings keep going or even escalate? This assassination really forces us to grapple with a profound final question. As tactics like these become more common, that traditional line between a distant battlefield and a safe capital city just dissolves. It makes you ask, what does war even look like when no one, no matter their rank or their location, is truly out of reach?